Welcome to Murder with the Missus. I'm Darren.
And I'm Amy. And today we're going to tell you about Sandra Birchmore.
Don't forget to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Podbean, and Facebook. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you get the new episodes whenever they drop. And tell your friends as always.
We're going to do some random shit in October.
Too early for that.
Too early for what?
Sorry. Procedures coming up. She's just spitting out random comments and stuff. I mean, I'm at the age now where I have to have certain things done to make sure that my health is right.
Yes, it's very important.
The process to get these things done feels like they're trying to, set you up for a P. Diddy party.
Stop it. A freak off.
And everything. They give you these pills and then, you just have this wonderful day.
Bad things happen.
Yeah. Just to get ready for the procedure. Just to get ready for the diddle party.
The diddler?
The P. Diddy diddle party.
Gross.
Anyway. Yeah. So we're going to do some random shit in October.
Okay. Let me explain. I think we'll try to do a theme for the week since we upload twice a week, but one will be true crime while the other will be a little different. Like this case is one that had conspiracies about law enforcement involvement, and then bam, charges are filed against an ex-cop and lawsuits are filed against other cops. So the conspiracies were true. This will be the true crime conspiracy that was proven. And then I think for Friday's episode, we will do one about other conspiracy theories from the past that were proven to be true. You picking up what I'm putting down?
I smell what you're stepping in.
Gross. Well, we all know that...
No, not gross, because you're not. You're not. You don't. I mean, I know what you're stepping in. Anyway, good.
What is happening? We all know that with an arrest comes documents, and I love me some court docs. So I finally got to read the affidavit for this case, and also gross. For those who don't know the case already, this is going to be a trigger warning episode all the way through for self-harm, sexual assault, and domestic violence. Some things may be hard to hear, so safety first. For those aware of the case, you know that we knew who did it this whole time, but they had to do a lot to get where we are now, and so we have more details. This is a case where it started with a suicide ruling that was eventually corrected, and now home dude got arrested. Of course, all are innocent until proven guilty, so everything you're about to hear is alleged since it is an ongoing case. There was also speculation that the same players from the Karen Reed case were involved with this case, like Trooper Proctor and Kevin Albert. But according to the Justice for Sandra Birchmore Facebook page, Proctor was not on Sandra's case. Kevin Albert was only there on the second day to get the surveillance video and turn the apartment back over to the property manager. Some have some issue with Kevin having access to that surveillance video, but if you don't know the Karen Reed case, then stay tuned. We're doing a podcast on her real soon. Like, really soon.
But is it soon? Why did you say it twice like that?
Because it's soon.
Oh.
It's going to be in the next week or two.
Oh, next week or two?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So soon.
So real soon?
Real soon.
14 days.
Stop it.
Gotcha.
You can't talk about conspiracy cases without mentioning the Karen Reed case. But today is about Sandra. 23-year-old Sandra lived in an apartment on her own in Canton, Massachusetts. On February 1st of 2020, there was a blizzard that came in. Sandra was wanting to be a nurse, but was currently working as a teacher's aide at an elementary school, so school did get released early that day. On February 4th, so 3 days later, when she didn't show up for work, a coworker called police to do a wellness check on her. They found her in her apartment, sitting on her bedroom floor, leaning up against the closet door. She had a duffel bag strap around her neck with the other end tied to the doorknob of the closet door. And she always wore a gold chain with a pink flamingo on it, and that chain was on her neck, but the chain was broken. Not the clasp, but the actual chain itself. Her phone was on the floor about 12 inches from her hand.
So they go straight to suicide?
Straight to it.
Figures.
Mm-hmm. But there would still be an investigation, just not the way you would think. Just 12 days before her death, one of her friends had called the police station and told them that one of their cops was in a relationship with Sandra, a married cop with kids. 38-year-old Matthew Farwell. Now, this person who took the phone call got all of the caller's information and took it straight to Matthew. But they made some pretty serious allegations, so Internal Affairs investigated. Sandra and Matthew had met when she was only 12 years old. She was interested in being a cop in those days, and there was a local explorer program, which is for kids who are interested in law enforcement. It gives them the opportunity to see what it's like and to learn about it. And this is where she met Matthew, his twin brother William, and Robert Devine, the head of the program. We will talk more about them later, so remember those names. And there is reportedly 2 other officers involved as well. Matthew and William had been in this program when they were kids too. So at this time, Robert had brought them in to be instructors, then gave them jobs as cops at the Stoughton Police Department in 2012. Later that year in October, Matthew sent Sandra a friend request on Facebook. He started helping her study, tutoring her, but he had some ulterior motives. I'm going to read some cringy texts, so prepare yourself, but I think it's important to see how they interacted. In a text from February 21st of 2019, the two reminisced about when he took her virginity. She said, "I had butterflies so bad the day you took my virginity." He said, "Me too. It was such a big day." She said, "Still know the date to this day." He said, "Really?" She said, "Yes." He sent her a smiley face. She said, "That's not a date I'll ever forget. It was April 10th of 2013. He sent her another smiley face. She said, "Best day of my life," with a face, the heart emoji. He said, "Me too." 2 things here. 1, she was 15 and he was 27 in April of 2013. And 2, he and his wife reportedly got married in May of 2013. So this happened roughly a month before he got married.
So he was doing cop shit, planning a wedding, and grooming a teenager all at the same time.
Oh yeah, he's a sick little multitasker.
Yeah.
But you'll see that he doesn't sound like a very good cop, so you can probably cross that one off the list. And because they texted everything, she told her friends, she kept a journal, they found out a lot of stuff. And he would always tell her to delete the texts or clear out the chats. Now you would think that a cop would know that delete doesn't mean delete. Now, Sandra had quite a bit of loss in her life. She had a stepdad who passed away when she was young. She never knew her bio dad. Around 2016, she lost her mom, grandma, and I believe an aunt in a relatively short amount of time. So she was not only young and impressionable, she was losing her support system. But she had Matthew. You can see through their texts that he was controlling, he was a stalker, and he had a thing for young teenage girls, but he also had rape fantasies. He would tell her that he wanted her to act 13 or 14 even as she got older. He said he wanted her to pretend that he was her brother, sneaking into her room at night. He wanted her to tell him no. He talked about choking her. There were at least 20 references in their messages about choking during sex in 2020 alone. He even had memes saved on his phone about choking women and necrophilia. Her journal entries from 2013 through 2020 say he used violent sex acts as punishment for things like getting bad grades, having intercourse with other people, that's what we'll touch on a little later, and for not sharing her cell phone location with him.
And she knows he's married.
Eventually, yes.
Eventually?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how soon into the relationship she found out he was married, but she even went to his house and babysat the kids for him and his wife. And at first...
She never caught on?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how early on. I'm surely it wasn't too far in. But she was 15, so yeah, she was a little more impressionable. Plus she was in love and he was her first. It was like a whole thing.
Sure.
And she was craving attention. But as she got older, she wanted more. She wanted a family of her own. So fast forward to October 5th of 2020. One of Sandra's friends tells her that Matthew's wife is pregnant with their 3rd child and is due in February. And that's when Sandra decides that maybe she will tell the wife that for literally the entirety of their marriage and before, he had been cheating on her. She even had sex with Matthew in his patrol car or truck or whatever he was driving at the time while he was on duty, so that would affect his personal and professional life. She drafted a message to his wife, but sent it to a friend instead to, I don't know, proofread it or talk her out of sending it. I don't know. Either way, she never sent it to his wife because she decided on a different way to handle it. She decided to give Matthew an ultimatum. Give me a baby or I'm singing like a canary. She sent him this message along with a picture of her ovulation schedule. And this shows a shift in the tone of his messages.
Well, yeah. It's not so easy or fun anymore.
No, all this good time they've been having, all of a sudden it's become very, very serious. And
No.
And he didn't like that ultimatum, but it started a negotiation as to how many times they would try and what his role would be if she did get pregnant. On December 28th of 2020, she texted him a picture of a poster she made saying, "Congrats, we're going to be parents 2021.
Why do I feel like there was glitter involved?
Because there was glitter.
Oh, okay. So it was a homemade picture.
Yeah, with a big poster. She made a couple, actually.
Gotcha. Made like in home ec.
Well, she was very crafty.
Yeah.
And she did work at an elementary school, so she probably had glitter on hand.
She's like, come here, kids.
Yeah, help out, guys.
Yeah, put the glue here.
Now, his response to her was, quote, "I literally have nothing to say right now. How could you express that in text when I said I don't appreciate it?" End quote. He really came from the heart on that one. He was not happy. He already had 2 kids, and now he had 2 more on the way. The negotiations eventually started again. She was very excited about having a baby. She wanted a full experience. She wanted him at the birth, wanted him to sign the birth certificate, and wanted to give the baby his last name. He tells her that she's the worst person on earth, and he wished she would die.
Well, damn.
Damn. It's hard to read through their text messages because at this point, she's very excited and being positive, and he's just flat out mean to her.
Well, I mean, honestly, what the fuck do you think was going to happen?
Honestly.
You know, you're cheating on your wife.
Yep. With a teenager.
Mm-hmm. You know, most teens are pretty damn vindictive anyway.
That's true.
Especially when they get mad.
Yeah, true.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, now she's in her 20s and now she's 23, but
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, she's been doing this since she was teen. Now she's in her 20s.
Yeah.
What the fuck did he expect? That she was going to have a long-term relationship?
They'd be together 40, 50 years and she was just going to sit there on the side?
Yeah.
No. Get your head out of your ass.
Exactly.
She told a friend that she showed Matthew a sonogram and he got mad. He told her, "That's not my child. I don't want anything really to do with you." And then he pushed her to the ground. So their fights turned physical, according to all this. He allegedly shoved her, put her in a headlock. He would take her phone and laptop away from her and refuse to give them back. Now, he is 6'4" tall, and she was only 4'10" tall. So he had quite the advantage. Every time she tried to talk about baby stuff, even if it was just names or baby clothes, he starts replying mostly that those are in-person conversations. After texting all that shit for years, all those details, and now he seems to be trying to avoid a paper trail. Okay, Matthew.
It completely changed once she got pregnant. So
yeah.
he is so done with her and he doesn't want nothing to do with her that she went ahead and got pregnant.
Well, yeah, he's still, so when they did
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they still did it.
Yeah, he's still there.
Jackass.
And the negotiation part of getting her pregnant was kind of funny because he said, "I told you we would try once." And she was like that we would have sex one time. And if I didn't get pregnant, that was it. And he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Who would agree to that?" Like, that makes no sense. It takes time to get pregnant. I mean, she got pregnant pretty fast, but at the same time, he was like, "No, I said I would do it one time." But they didn't. They did it multiple times. But either way, he's pissed. And she does end up texting him that he doesn't have to sign the birth certificate as long as the baby can have his last name. So while she wants the full experience, you can see that she's trying to appease him and relieve some of this tension. And this is when I think we hit the breaking point. It was January 20th, 2021, when her friend called the police station and outed Matthew's activities. He immediately texted Sandra, "What's going on? You also told me that no one knew about us yet." And she claimed we're fucking. She said, "It's literally nothing." He said, "It's not nothing. She called my job. That's insane. Why would she call and drop my fucking name, Sandra? Like, what do I have to do with you not giving her something? Like, you have no idea how bad what she did is. I literally can't believe this is even real life. What else do I have to worry about now? Which other friend will do something tomorrow?"
Oh, he's big mad now.
Big mad because he can't deny anything anymore.
Well, okay.
Well, then stop doing it.
No
Okay,
shit.
never mind. I've always told the kids, if you can't tell somebody about something that you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
And you can watch the decline. But after a few days, on January 24th, Sandra was texting with a friend saying the father came by the night before, brought her a ginger ale like she'd asked him to, and said if she kept their secret, that he would be around and see them, meaning her and the baby. She said he did a complete 180. But she also said he was being weird. He was looking in her closet and bathroom, really checking him out. He asked for a key to her apartment after all these years. And he wanted the passcode for the front door to the apartment building, making sure that it was a general passcode and not apartment specific. Now, I know hindsight is 2020, but holy premeditation, Batman.
Just a regular passcode, like a general passcode. I mean, that could be for maintenance. That
Well,
could be for anybody.
Yeah, but these are big clues to her. He's super mean. He's getting physically violent. He's doing all these things. And then all of a sudden one day he's like, "Hey, here's a ginger ale.
Yeah.
Can I get the key to your apartment and the passcode to your front door?"
Mhm.
I know we've been together for how many years at this point? Almost it's like 8 years.
Yeah.
But now I want access to your apartment?
And he never had that before.
Nope. She thought it was weird, but she wanted this to work so bad she had her blinders on. And she really wanted him in her and the baby's lives.
Yeah, that poor girl.
I know, it's sad. So that's the 23rd and the 24th. On January 30th, she texted him possible baby names, and he responded the usual. That's an in-person conversation shit. She had went to Walmart around this time and picked up a stroller. She was moving along with preparations. And that brings us to February 1st, the snowstorm. She was released early from work, and she had texted Matthew to let his controlling ass know. And he responded that he wasn't going to be in the area that day. The surveillance camera in the lobby of her apartment building shows that she got a DoorDash delivery at 5:01 p.m. She is seen going outside about 30 minutes later, but comes back in a couple of minutes with a snow brush in her hand. And that is the last she is seen on camera, going back up to her apartment at 5:33 p.m. At 9:08 p.m., Matthew texted her asking if he could come by for a second. She responded 2 minutes later that the door would be open for him. She was a big texter, messenger, Snapchatter, so she always responded quickly. Matthew entered the building at 9:14 wearing street clothes, a hoodie with a hood up, and a face mask, like a COVID face mask, even though he was a big anti-masker during the pandemic, but he was obviously trying to hide his identity. Dude is 6'4", so he kind of stands out regardless. He left the apartment at 9:43. We know they didn't find Sandra until 3 days later, and that seemed like the plan.
I bet he saw that blizzard as an opportunity.
That's widely believed, yes. Because he knew her being a teacher, she wasn't going to be at school for a day or two. Nobody would miss her. Nobody'd be able to come by and check on her because everybody'd be snowed in.
Yeah.
You know.
And where was this at?
It's in Canton, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on in Massachusetts.
Oh, we're going to do that. Like I said, the Karen Reed case, and it is also in Canton, Massachusetts. Huh. That's why I had to mention the people involved. Yeah.
I got you.
It's wild. Now, his wife did give birth the next day after they believed that Sandra died. And there's a picture of him holding his son. And it looks like he is still wearing the same, if not really, really, really similar clothes to what he was wearing on that surveillance footage that night. You nasty. They did question him on February 6th, and he lied through his teeth. He said they only had sex like a few times, and it was all when she was an adult. And the last time was way before she got pregnant, so he was definitely not the father. He did admit to going to her apartment that night because, well, he didn't have a choice with that surveillance footage. But he said he went there and they argued. He broke it off with her and she was very much alive when he left. On February 9th, after giving his personal cell phone to the state police detectives, he used his cop phone to make and then delete 2 Google searches. Can delete iMessage be recovered by Celebrite? And can you revoke consent in Massachusetts?
I feel like a cop should know that.
Yeah. And that's why I said earlier that he didn't seem like he was a very good cop.
Well, I was trying to read back and I was like, can delete iMessage be recovered by Celebrite?
Yeah, he was trying. He was trying to. I was reading it how he typed it. So he
was like kind of like frantically typing out just a bunch of random shit.
Well, he was just missing things. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And it makes sense now that because he didn't know that Celebrite can pull deleted text messages, that's why they texted all that shit back and forth for so many years. And he'd just tell her, hey, delete it. Get your head out of your ass. I already said that like 6 times.
Yeah, I know. This whole, should have just named this one, Get Your Head Out of Your Ass.
Get your head out of your ass. That's the name of this episode. In the summer of 2021, at a social gathering, he allegedly participated in a joke about Sandra being hung on the door.
Really?
Yeah.
Now he's even joking about it?
Now he's even joking about it.
Douchebag.
Douche. In December of 2022, her family filed a wrongful death suit. They also named his twin brother William and Robert Devine from the Explorers program. It says they were involved in an ongoing scheme of grooming, misconduct, and negligence in a 10-year-long period of sexual abuse and mistreatment. So Matthew wasn't the only one that had been messing with Sandra. And I saw that William had some text messages they found too with inappropriate words and pictures. He allegedly was trying to introduce her to fellow officers as well, and not to be friends. So how deep does this go? Are there more victims? You would think so. But the Internal Affairs investigation found all this out and released their findings in September of 2022. William and Robert resigned. Another officer had already moved to another police department, and there isn't much about the possible 5th cop involved.
So who was Robert Devine?
He was the head of the Explorers program.
What was that?
So that was the program I was talking about. That's where Sandra met all of these. She was 12, and it's like a little program that the Boy Scouts, like an extension of the Boy Scouts.
Oh, okay.
So if you're interested in being a cop or in law enforcement, you can actually join this program and you go once a week or however many times a week, and they show you how to be a cop. And
oh, okay.
Yeah, so that they literally met her through this program and started grooming her when she was probably 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, fast forward to this year. The family hired forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Bawden, who a lot of people see as a fame chaser, but that doesn't change the facts because the FBI also commissioned their own forensic pathologist to re-examine the autopsy. Keep in mind that in the hours before she committed suicide, she had contacted a photographer about a newborn photo shoot. She was planning a pregnancy announcement on Valentine's Day. She was in the middle of doing laundry. She was doing chores, making plans, but then just stopped and decided now's the time. I don't think so. So the new experts find that her hyoid bone is broken, which we know is prominently found in strangulation cases. Bawden said it very rarely, if ever, happens in hangings, and the internet chats went wild. Yes, it does. It happens in some 30-odd% of hangings, blah, 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 blah. And I could understand that happening sometimes in drop hangings.
It's definitely not what this was.
No, this was sort of a soft hanging or half hanging. And I can see how it would be less likely to break that little bone because, she's from a doorknob. She's sitting on the floor. It's literally a pressure thing. But they also said that there was a buckle imprint on her chest, like it had been pressed into her chest. But the buckle was up near her ear when she was found. So that would indicate repositioning of that strap. Her nose had marks on it that I've seen described as almost rubbed raw, Like you would see if something was up against it and she was moving her head trying to breathe.
Like carpet burn.
Yeah, like a carpet burn, or if somebody had gloves on and you rub your nose across their hand as they're holding it over it. We know that her necklace was broken, which they say shows a struggle.
Yeah.
So the ruling is changed from suicide to homicide. We don't see that enough.
Yeah.
And let's talk about how they got to the arrest. She was found wearing the same clothes she had on in the surveillance footage from February 1st. We know Matthew entered the building on that day at 9:14. Her phone shows it was locked at 9:13 that night and stayed that way until the battery died on February 3rd. The last time the phone moved was when it moved about 8 steps at 9:40 p.m. and Matthew is on surveillance leaving at 9:43.
Oh, he's looking really guilty now.
Yeah. Can't really deny that one.
No. No.
So he's the last person that's with her.
Gotcha, bitch.
Yes. I don't even have to go down the rule. We already know. And that's why he was arrested at the end of August by the FBI. And when I say end of August, I'm talking this year. He was arrested a month ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And the death penalty in Massachusetts was abolished in 1984. So some are saying he's looking at a life sentence, but this is federal. He was, arrested by the FBI. So he's still looking at the death penalty.
Yeah, but I mean, he'll be looking at like 2 counts, won't he?
He should.
Because she was pregnant.
We've talked about this, but sometimes they don't include that. Sometimes they don't.
I mean, she was at the point there where she was carrying a living child. I mean, it wasn't like she was in early stages.
She was in the early stages.
Oh, was she?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, then that would be the difference too.
Yeah, so that will make a difference. So we'll see exactly what goes on. Things change. He may, since he is looking at the death penalty, he may take a plea deal.
Yeah.
And, to avoid the death penalty. And so it may not even ever go to court. But it's going to be a while before we know anything. But I wanted to get it out there because it's wild. We knew it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We knew it. Everybody knew it. This is one of those cases where we've done them in the past that they're still unsolved, but you can clearly see who did it, but they had to put all this stuff together. You got to have your good case if you're going for death penalty. There you go.
All right.
So we'll follow up on this one. Of course, it'll be in probably one of our update episodes.
Yeah.
But for now, if you or someone you know has been a victim of sexual abuse, text STRENGTH to the crisis text line at 741-741.
All right. Well, you guys pray for me as I go through my procedures and stuff like that. We do appreciate you guys listening. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell your friends, and click that follow button.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Bye.